He was not telling me.
Wouldn't be, I'd be very surprised if Tim was wrong.
It's better when he says-
Well, I think mine was.
Yeah.
She's going to go.
Yeah.
Okay, you're all set, Zach.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 16th meeting of Village of New Paltz Planning Board. Tonight, in addition to our regular administrative business, we have 3 application reviews. To begin with, did everyone get a chance to the September 2nd meeting minutes? Any changes or updates needed to that? In that case, could I get a motion to approve the September 2nd meeting minutes?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, our Village Board and Ulster County Planning Board liaison is not here tonight, but he wrote and said that he had no updates for this meeting. In addition, I don't think there are any updates from the Environmental Policy Board. Do we have any updates from the Director of Planning and Zoning?
Yeah, 2 updates, and actually one I'll defer till we get to the code updates, but to alert you, the town board voted yesterday to deny the annexation proposal by New Paltz Apartments. It was adopted by the village board at their last meeting. The town board wrote a finding statement that is associated with it. I just got it late this afternoon, and I plan to review it to be determined what the next steps may or may not be. It just happened yesterday, but I just wanted to bring you up to speed on this, as you guys are the lead agency of the or were the lead agency of the seeker review. So that's the status on that.
Can you, just one thing,
Yeah.
when you say we were the lead agency, that's because.
Because once the negative declaration is done, by saying we were, I mean you conducted the process.
Okay.
There is no more secret review once the negative declaration is done. So apologies if that I said it strangely, yeah. But I just want to keep you up to speed on where that application is. If the annexation had gone through, they probably would have been coming back to us sooner rather than later for the next steps. But to be determined at this point.
Okay,
May I ask a question?
sure.
So were you present for the deliberation of the?
I was not. I know according to, there's an article in Hudson Valley One that appears to be very well written and talks about the number of people that were there. It said there were 3 village board members. I know the mayor was there, and I don't know who the other 2 were.
Well, it was held during work hours on Monday.
Yes.
It's pretty unusual, and so it wasn't really an opportunity for, and they didn't allow for any public comment or hearing, which I guess they're not obligated to, but it didn't really give much room for much learning about things they might not have
Yeah.
thought about in their, what seemed to be.
Well, the public hearing was closed, so they couldn't take new information at that point. So that I do understand, that they did that public comment, because the only agenda item was that discussion, so.
Mhm.
If in the process, the developer says that they are not seeking a pilot, does that obligate them not to then turn around after it's passed and seek one?
To my knowledge, the short answer is no, but, in Ulster County, it's limited as to when you can apply for a pilot. It has, and I did go back and check based on what Terry had mentioned, at the last meeting, it does have to be in conjunction with either a new development or a new business or a major capital project. You can't just apply. I know you use the reference from a city, and in different locations have different.
Yeah.
So in Ulster County, they have what they call a but-for clause, and not to get too into the details, but it basically The but for means we cannot do this they have to show financially that the project will not happen, but for the pilot.
I see.
So in Ulster County, that's how they operate. So later on in the process, before something is constructed, after they've gone through a review, yes, that can happen. But it still has to be tied to a capital project of some sort. That's all my understanding. I don't claim to be an expert on IDAs,
But to be clear, that was not the issue at stake with the annexation. They were not applying.
but they have stated that they are not, and they,
Yeah,
you know, more than multiple times. I think at every meeting it was stated.
And, sorry, thanks, Rachel. So, and, is the memo that you're describing a public document?
Well, the resolution is, it had to be filed with the village clerk, who forwarded that to me, to the village staff. So yes, it is a public document, it's a resolution that was signed and certified. What wasn't included yesterday by email were the attachments, and today or late yesterday, I guess they got a paper copy, which I was then able to read. The one attachment is just a petition, which we already had, because we received the same petition. The second was their finding statement, which
It's on the website, I'm looking at it right now, so
Okay.
anyone who wants.
okay,
The final statements?
The town website.
I have one other question about the Huguenot Visitor Center. So they were originally supposed to be back before this board tonight, but you received some. communication
yeah,
from them?
after the public hearing by that the Historic Preservation Commission had, I think it was the next day, which would have been, I guess, last Tuesday. I emailed the architect engineering firm and said, just checking in, and he said, we're rethinking things, we'll let you know when we want to come back on the agenda. So at this time, they haven't withdrawn anything, it's just, we're now waiting for them to either send us new or different or expand. I don't know what they're going to do. but-
Sounds like a substantial modification.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna guess, but I based on the turnout, there was a large turnout of people who expressed a lot of concerns about the project.
Okay, thank you. Were there any town planning board updates? I guess we just talked about one.
Yeah, I actually looked at their next agenda, they have one item on the agenda, it's a site plan at 246 Main Street, which I think is that the Cherry Hill Plaza? I believe it is, but I'm not 100% sure. It's for an early childhood play space. So I'm guessing there must be either a vacancy or about to be a vacancy in one of the spaces there that they're looking to move into. That was the only thing on their agenda, but I believe what I read online, they do now have a new secretary clerk, and it appears their website is being updated more regularly, so.
Great. Moving on then to the zoning code update.
Yeah, so I met with the village board at the September 10th meeting. We went through the first two articles, which took quite a bit of time because Article 1 has 60+ pages of definitions. We obviously didn't go through every single item, but I sort of walked them through it all. To be continued at their next meeting on the 24th. The changes that were made as a result of that meeting have been updated in the folder that I shared with you all. So you'll see it dated as of September 10th. So that's the most recent version. The dual poll, I heard back from the majority of people. There was one board member I did not hear back from. The October 16th, which is a Thursday, I think it was the sixteenth, yes. Seems to be a day that 5 of the 6 people who answered the poll can attend. One board member could not, it's a Thursday night.
How late?
Well, we could either. Because it would only allow me to do 20 options, and that was the last option, I stopped at 6:30, but we could either do it at 6, 6:30, or 7. I could recirculate to everybody, that does mean it's gonna be another whole month until we actually review anything, but that was the only day where the majority of people could come. As I said, I know there was one board member who did not check that date, so. But it was the only one where the majority said they could attend. The other ones were either 3 or 4 people, so.
Do any of the board members have a preference on time when we start that meeting?
Early is better.
Earlier is better, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, early.
What's
That's
the date
fine.
for that?
Thursday the 16th,
What
would 6:30 work? As a compromise, I mean, 6 is early for people. I can do it as early as you want, but 6 is, I know is probably tough for people.
It can't be the 16th.
Was it 16 before 7 would be almost impossible for me to do.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll be sick.
I wouldn't have checked that.
Yeah.
I did?
Yeah,
Well, it's been a while.
that's okay. It's not a problem.
My schedule changes.
Yeah, I didn't wanna,
Sorry about
that's okay. I didn't wanna point out who did, who didn't, but that, yeah, so. I can circulate another one. I am away the last week in September from the 25th until the 1st, so, that's why there was that hole in the middle.
yeah.
And I
as-
think
as
you're
am
away
I.
for part of it as well.
that. Can I ask a question, Zach?
Sure,
Is it, we have some meetings today, I mean, we've already talked about a couple of topics, so we're making it a little longer than it needed to be, but we have some pretty light meetings lately, and today would have been a good example of them. Is there any reason we couldn't have an extended meeting where this material is covered?
There's not, we could.
we do that.
We
And
could
we
do
could
it over
just- we could
several
just-
meetings.
We could just kind of anticipate, just look at 1-2 weeks ahead and say, this looks like when we could do this. Knock out the agenda and start it at 8.
Yeah,
And
Would
do-
we have to give notice of it? I mean, could we do it tonight if everyone?
you don't have to give notice. I mean, you're here for a convened meeting. You could,
Yeah.
I could start, it's up to you if you would like me to start tonight when the meeting.
I'm not recommending
I
tonight.
wouldn't, I would do tonight just because I'd like to read. it
Okay.
and do
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Understood.
If you
But we
get
can look at the
information
next meeting
to
after.
look ahead, and let's do that.
It seems like that
Hard to
might,
make it
that
know
might
that.
be easier.
Okay.
So let's
And-
plan on that.
And just as an alternative too, you each can look at it on your own and just bring your thoughts, questions, concerns. And we can simply just review those instead of me going over everything with you, which obviously takes longer. So however this board wants to do it, there's a requirement that you get referred it. And you haven't been referred it officially yet because it's still being in limbo or being worked on, I should say it that way. But Tim wanted me to get it to you guys earlier rather than later so you can start looking at it.
Once it's referred to us, is there a deadline for us to
I
act?
think it's 30 days, I believe,
Unless, we're
Unless-
given more time.
unless you ask for longer or they're giving you more time. Yeah, so.
I'm just looking ahead on my calendar. It looks like we don't have, we only have one meeting in November, is that?
Correct, we don't have a meeting on the 4th because that's election day, the village is closed, and to try to find another day around that to meet was
That's
became
right.
very difficult because of other boards that meet here, so.
Well, I think if we could all start reviewing the zoning code changes, and then we will try to begin that discussion at our next regular meeting, just to get that process rolling.
And that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. Next, is there anyone here for public comment tonight? Anyone online? In that case, like to move on to our first application review, PB 2516 13 Water Street. Please come up.
I saw it already. Thank you so much.
Okay, so you already read the, resolution of approval.
Yes.
There were a few specific conditions that I will just go through now. Number one, there shall be no residential use or building mechanicals on the ground floor to avoid potential flood damage. The ground floor may be used for storage at the applicant's discretion. Number two, prior to issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall provide proof that necessary easements have been recorded with the Ulster County Clerk. Following easements are recommended, subject to the approval of the village attorney. Easements covering rail trail access and encroachments onto village property, and an easement between 11 Water Street and 13 Water Street ensuring that the stairway to the rail trail on the 13 Water Street property is maintained for use of hotel guests and the public. Did the board have any questions about the resolution of approval?
Nope.
No.
Zach, I just had one quick question. Jesse, I know at the last meeting you said the agreement between the parcels was done and filed with the clerk. Can you just send me a copy of that for our records? Because I don't know that I got it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
No problem.
All right, and in that case, I'd like to get a motion to approve the site plan and special use permit for 13 Water Street, PB 2516. The second, and could you have a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Rachel,
Aye.
Nikki,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Zach.
Aye. That is.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
You too. Thank you.
Next, could we have PB 25-17, 85 North Chestnut Street? Okay, so I guess after the last meeting, we realized there was some confusion about the version of the site plan that we were looking at, so we got a new site plan. Is that a paper copy? Could you just put that out? Yes. This is the version from November 30th, 2021. And that includes a number of the changes that were asked for with the special conditions of first resolution of approval. I believe we also had some more letters from the engineer. Is that right? So we have a letter
The one that just came in today, it's not linkable on the agenda because I'd already printed the agenda. But that's about the response to the county planning board about the renderings. So,
I see.
and also to confirm, so the fire chief, who is also the fire inspector, viewed the plans against the comments from the previous fire chief and said everything that was requested has been addressed. And the village engineer, Dennis Larios, reviewed it and sent me an email that there's a copy in your packet that said all his comments have been addressed. And also back in 21, there was a sketch, it's in your packet as an 8.5 by 11, there was a sketch of EV charging stations, which Andy can answer, but I don't think is included in that site plan. So you probably want to make this a condition if, when you get to that stage, that this be included in the finals.
And that was actually a condition, it was the last one on the original.
Right. Okay, so before we sign the plans, this will be on there. I think this makes sense, and. Okay, so all of those were addressed, then moving on to the Ulster County Planning Board feedback. Let's see, they said that overall, the planning board commends the village and the applicant on this proposal, which meets the many goals of the NDR district. Okay, so it seems like they were generally positive. The previous comments were access. The applicant is proposing one-way access through the site, and their required modification was final approval of the proposed access to serve this facility by NYSDOT. So that was already going to be one of the special conditions, I assume. Next were the signage, defining architectural element. So there's no current signage plan or proposal for signage. They are, there's a required modification that signage details will need to be provided for review. And advisory comment, the development of a master signage plan along the storefronts combined with an architectural feature, perhaps one that wraps around the building, may help to further define the building as a mixed-use structure. How are you planning on responding to this?
We did all this a while ago, I'm trying to recall all of it, but essentially we don't know who the tenants are gonna be. And, essentially it's like 100% chance it's gonna change. So we're not gonna propose something that we know is gonna change. And we do have to do signage, we'll apply to the village, and come back to this board, and then we'll do that. But, we don't have a sign plan at the moment. We obviously it'll have to meet village code.
Okay, so even if the signs are, obviously, like, you don't know the names of the businesses, but there's no way to just show where the signs would go, or some blank templates of what they look like.
We can. We found in the past that it's kind of a, an exercise, and that is gonna change for sure. But we have done that in the past, and we can do it that way.
Just the scale and location. Right, and
Right.
color schemes or anything, just this.
We've done, every other project I've seen that's come through has had some, here's where it's gonna be placed, this is how big it'll be. How we'll make it consistent. I think that would be consistent with what we've asked other applicants to do.
Yeah, usually when it's one business, one product, it's simpler. There's multiple times. But yes, we can.
How many storefronts are there?
There's four.
Can I see the renderings? I know you just got the Ulster County Planning Board response, but it's a required modification from them,
Yeah.
so we just want to do it.
That's. I think this was one that was on the original, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, what did we do last time?
It might have been a condition on the approval. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember seeing it, but.
what the board has done in the last 3 projects, which all came after yours, is that to require, like they said, a style and a location and a generalized type. And then when the vendors come in, they're gonna have to follow that because that's been approved.
Yeah, that's fine. If they want an exception to it, they have to come back.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Ulster County Planning Board was also suggesting an architectural feature, perhaps one that wraps around the building to help define, further define buildings, mixed use structure. I assume they mean like an awning, and is there an additional commercial tenant on the side that would also be, would people be entering on the side too?
No, the entrance is. There is an awning.
So this,
Yeah, there
this
is awning.
side entrance is just for tenants
That's for,
or?
For the-
yes,
to go
apartments?
upstairs for that
Okay.
apartment.
Okay,
And there are awning in the front, right,
yeah, yeah. Okay, then I don't think that is necessary. Sustainability, there's also required modification. The village and applicant look the ways proposal being NYS stretch energy code acting to seek to reduce carbon footprint. I think given the use of solar, use of heat pumps and electric vehicle charging station, that has been addressed. And then lastly,
Well, actually, more substantially, we talked, were the questions around reducing the carbon footprint. The passive solar geothermal, and is that in the current plan?
yeah, I
So
mean,
we definitely did this whole exercise before and I have to look back. So we did all, I remember we had a whole discussion of, the solar is gonna, power the lights in the hallways, and we're gonna use LED, and we're gonna use, so we had a narrative.
There is a narrative.
There is, it's in the record from the first, because this was exactly the same time as the first time.
Well, and I think when we sent, when we referred to the county, it wasn't the very final version of the plans, right? It was the.
No, I didn't have.
It didn't have the EV chargers,
Yeah,
for instance, so
yeah.
the final version has some things.
Well, also to point out, the first 3 responses are the same responses that they gave in 2021.
Yeah.
It wasn't re-referred in 2024, so those responses came before those new plans were presented.
And thanks, because I wasn't here for the real review of this, so I'm just, but.
And I seem to remember it being in the original resolution, not the one we did last year. I think there was a whole discussion of the county, how you're addressing the county. It's in there somewhere. It's in the record.
okay, we will try to include that in the resolution of the findings section, maybe.
Yeah.
And so then lastly, the new comments, site context and photo simulations, the renderings provided in the proposal do not match the site plan provided other than the building itself. No contextual elements are included. And they are asking for updated renderings that show the proposal in the context of the streetscape. And just to show how the building fits into the surrounding area. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it would be helpful for the board to see a slightly more accurate view of the building with the road and yeah, the context of other buildings and
And you saw the letter we received today, correct?
that one I did not see. What's,
Yeah, we're not eliminating the building on the other side of the rail trail or the JD's building or any of that, right?
No.
Like this, yeah, I think it would be helpful to exceed the city's, or village streetscape rather than.
Yeah, we can, I mean, basically our rendering work, the more stuff you add, the more time, more, we could add all kinds of things you can add, but we're. You guys, if you need us to add some more detail, okay.
Yeah, and it seems their recommendation is a photo simulation, so. Where photograph that then drops in your rendering, that would give the context.
So an actual photo of like the village street with our building in there. And then it gets a little crazy, like we have like, you know, a couple of hundred plants that we're planting, so, you know, we show all the landscape.
It can be imperfect, a lot of times we get them that sit in the context but don't include the landscaping, and sometimes we ask for that, sometimes we're okay with that, because it still at least is an improvement in the understanding of how it's gonna live in the context.
Right now, it looks like it's an open field and it's not.
Right, okay,
But that's the issue.
the building's next to it. What else should we add?
Well, you can see why they would ask for the signs, because when you look at it, you can't really tell that there's businesses at the bottom when you look at the pictures that you gave us. It just doesn't. And then I guess you've already given us, we don't have it in front of us, but you've given us a tree map of the plantings already.
Mhm.
And then I was just curious, so it's gonna be like 4 entrances, and then that's where you would go up, like between the stores, where you would go up to get into the apartments. There's no like,
Parking's going from the side.
oh, the apartments come in from the side of the building.
Yes.
The front doors of the apartments are on the
Yes.
side of the building.
I think that's why it's difficult to understand this.
That's why
Yeah,
I
it's
showed you where the awnings are. There's gonna
Which
be one on
part?
each side, one from this
The
side, one
orientation
from that
and,
side.
you know, it's,
Okay.
for a place that we're very familiar with, it's hard to place it visually, given that it's kind of a standalone project. Where the street is and where the parking is, I mean, there's just not this much open space around it.
Right. So we'll add some landscaping, we're not gonna show every plant, but we'll make it more accurate, show the buildings next to it.
Yeah, immediately on either side. I think that's all that's really needed.
Okay.
And just, yeah, I would say like I don't know if the street is to scale here, but making the streetscape, yeah. More to scale, or I guess if it is just superimposed on an actual photograph, then that will take care of that.
Mhm. And your vendor,
Yeah.
your person already said they were on this. They said that they are, they've ordered updated renderings and will incorporate the requested streetscape perspective to a better reflect the visual context of the site.
We're trying, since we get the letter from the county, we just trying, and they can't just come up with something like that.
I understand.
They said it'll be hopefully to us within this week.
Great. Thanks. It's important for the public hearing.
Yes.
Yeah, we have 3 weeks between now and the next meeting too, because of the way the calendar falls, so.
So we'll have a few
Give you a
before
little extra time.
for them to
Great.
The only other. Well, were there any other questions about the county letter before we move on? Okay, the only other question I had then was about our special use permits. Did we? For other projects, mixed use projects, we had some narrative of potential uses and just pre-approved uses as part of the resolution. Are we doing that? Do you want to?
Yes, we did that the first time, we did a whole special use narrative, 4 years ago.
Did you call out which uses?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to.
And we
pull that
discussed
from
each
first.
one, and there was I can resubmit that, there was a narrative on each one, and we we're getting approved for like 6 of them or something.
Great.
Yeah, if you could resubmit, that'd be easier than us trying to find it.
Okay.
Because some of these records were not kept as diligently as I would have liked.
Okay.
Great.
Check if it's in the resolution, if it is, then.
Yeah.
we have it, but I didn't.
I didn't see it, but that doesn't mean it was.
Okay, well, then does the rest of the board think that we can set the public hearing? Is this in a state that it's ready to be reviewed by the public?
Sure, why not?
Okay, so in that case, can I get a motion to schedule the public hearing for our next meeting on October?
October 7th.
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And yeah, if you could get us those renderings before then, that would be great.
When we do the sign, you guys will, I'll coordinate with you, Mike.
Yeah, I'll email you the list of, who it needs to be mailed to and the signs.
And we'll get you everything we talked about, well, before that meeting.
And that'll have to be 10 days before that meeting is when they have to be up. So, it's the Saturday on Friday. Whatever that date happens to be.
What do you do sign for the more since PDQ closed?
Well, it's 11 by 17 paper and I've made it with a pink background, so if you can print it out on a color printer, you can do it. As long as you print it 11 by 17
They
on.
come with my office, that's where they're going.
I mean, I use a lot of ink, but you know, people tell me they can't find the 11 by 17 pink paper.
Well, that laminated is our,
Yeah,
doesn't the rain melt it? We'll figure it out.
yeah, I went ahead and made it a pink background for people, so you can just print it on a color printer. It does use the pink.
I did find the list of the special uses in the last resolution.
Good.
You might just wanna check and make sure that's still what you want. I mean, we have another chance at it, so if you wanna change those at all, you know, now's the time.
I think that's all for tonight.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll get those to you later this week. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, appreciate you. Helping me get all that stuff, because it's been a little bit different time, so appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks.
Lastly, do we have PB 2518, 12 Orchard Lane? Hello. Welcome. Do you want to give us a little overview of your application?
Yes, I currently have a single car driveway. I want to have a 2-car driveway. And I also want to put a little pathway that goes from my existing cement pad front porch to the sidewalk. The pathway from the front porch to the sidewalk would be permeable pavers. The existing driveway pad is asphalt. The expanded driveway pad would also be asphalt. The existing driveway pad is 9 feet wide. For some reason, the apron that goes out to the street is 14 feet wide. The ultimate, I put a photograph in there so you
Yeah.
can see. The final width of the asphalt driveway, if it is approved, would be 20 feet. So there would have to be 6 feet of the curb that is in the right side of the picture there. That would have to be ground down under the asphalt.
So. Okay.
And when facing the house and the garage door, is the additional width proposed to be on the right side or the left?
Yeah, I added a drawing in there.
There's no drawing in your packet, just
It's off to the right.
Mhm.
for the board's information, Emily and I looked and we did discover something that is not in the zoning code, but it's in the traffic section. driveways in New Paltz are not allowed to be wider than 18 feet.
Okay,
I'm not sure where that number comes from, other than 2 cars with 9-foot parking spaces is 18 feet. But it says the maximum residential driveway can be 18. I didn't know that when you applied. We found it after the fact, so
okay,
we would probably need to amend it
yeah.
to 18 rather than 20. You can't even unfortunately get a variance because it's not part of zoning code. It's part of another section of code.
Yeah.
So it's not an option. You don't go variance if you.
Yeah. I think I mentioned the only reason, I mean, if it can't be done, it can't be done, but the reason that I went to 20 feet was so that there would be room between the cars to open the doors. When they're parked, when there's 2 cars parked next to each other, because to the left, there's gonna be in between where the pathway and the driveway is, there's gonna be a flower garden, so I didn't want to be opening my car door into the garden or to the other car, so, but if it can't be, it can't be.
Well, I think parking lot widths are 9 feet, right?
Correct, parking lot.
Parking lot space widths are 9 feet, and we make those work.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, it looks like you could just line it up with the path instead of having it extend out from the path that you want.
I'm sorry, what?
You mean the one on the side of the house?
Oh, if it was.
Oh, the existing little path that's there,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that would
you just
probably
like-
be, right where it would come to, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Does the pathway, the paver pathway require a planning board approval or only because of the driveway extension?
The whole site plan is,
It's part of the site plan, but it's at the building inspector and it's pervious paper, so it doesn't calculate into lot coverage in any way. The answer to your question, it would not have to come to us except as part of the site plan.
And is there a lot coverage calculation, or are we not at all worried about it?
He did it, it's in his zoning determination, he calculated that it's below 20%, so
Thanks.
yeah. There's at least 10% leaving it.
And I think would have been used for 20 feet, so if I'm on the 18, I'll be even better.
I mean.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it seems like with the code as it is, our hands are kind of tied with regard to the asphalt. I mean, it seems like you might be able to put some gravel on the side if you need to go.
I was just thinking the
Extra.
same thing, if I did something extra on the side that was permeable, would that be allowable?
you could do the whole thing in gravel and it would be even better, but I know that I'm outvoted on that, but there are very many benefits to gravel.
I actually agree with you, and the reason that I requested asphalt was because of my understanding of the percentage. And I figured that if I can get approved for the asphalt and then I end up doing something permeable or partially permeable, that would be allowable. The only thing is that it's quite a slant down from the driveway to the road. And if I use pea gravel or something like that, I just was concerned that I would be fighting a constant battle of it sliding down into the street.
Mhm.
But I love pea gravel and I would be happy to do that.
That would be awesome, because you just need a shovel and you don't need a big machine that puts out asphalt.
If it was,
Fix it.
yeah, if it was flat, I would definitely do that, but it's not.
Okay.
You would be required ultimately to go to DPW to change that curb, but that doesn't come from this board. That comes from the Department of Public Works, the access.
Whoever did it previously, since I've only just purchased this place recently, when they put the asphalt apron over the sidewalk and the curb that was there, they just kind of asphalted right over it.
That's not surprising.
My suspicion too, when you said it was 14 feet, is it was probably, the curb was there before the house was there, and there was a space left for a driveway. And then whoever put the driveway in chose to make it smaller, is my guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I think, I mean, the only thing really that changed is to just a slightly updated drawing, site plan that shows the 18-foot width here. And then, yeah, I don't think there's too much else to talk about. But if you think that you could submit that before our next meeting, we can schedule the public hearing for the 7th and keep you moving forward.
Sure.
Okay.
I have to admit, the drawing that I've submitted, if you see it, I just, I had an existing condition in the site plan, and then I just drew it in, but as you said, I just make my line come down from that little pathway that's already there.
Yeah, and just put a dimension on, it shows 18 feet, and that would be perfect.
Yep.
Okay. And as far as, I don't know if you know this or not, but as far as that little piece of curb that is there, I don't know if I can have them just grind it down to be level with the street. So one of the people that I got an estimate from told me that sometimes these curbs vertically go quite deep under the road. Would I have to remove that whole thing, or could I
That's
just have?
where DPW will tell you what you have to do. You have to go to them for a permit
Oh,
to
okay,
do any work along that curve.
okay,
And they'll tell you, but you don't need a review board for that, you just go to the DPW and file for a curb access.
Okay, so in that case, could I get a motion to schedule the public hearing for, what's this? TV 2518 for October 7th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think that's all for tonight.
Thank you.
I don't think there's anything else, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?